I'm Jeff Matlow. Welcome to the best leadership podcast ever. Welcome back to the pod. Always great to be talking with you. Before I forget, you really need to head over to thebestleadershipnewsletter.com. That's my newsletter, the best leadership newsletter ever. Subscribe to that too. If you like this podcast, which I sure hope you do, you are going to love that newsletter. Jumping right into it, I'm guessing you know about the frog in the boiling water, right? And it's kind of cliche these days, that story. So if you don't know it, you may want to look it up before you continue with this. Because I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that it's always the frog who's the metaphor? Sure, he's the tragic hero of the story, the one that sits calmly while the water all around him comes to a boil. And yeah, tragic heroes make really good metaphors. But I don't want to focus on the frog, because when you do that, you're actually solving for the wrong problem. Instead, let's talk about the chef. The chef is the one who's slowly turning up the heat. He may not be intending to boil the frog to death. Truthfully, I don't know what's going on through his kitchen-crazed mind, and frankly, I don't give a shit. The important thing is not why the chef keeps turning up the heat, but simply the fact that he's doing it. And you have to remember, the chef isn't a villain. In fact, the chef is you. Before I go too far down that hole, what I want to do is, instead of using the chef as a metaphor for reality, I want to use reality as a metaphor for the chef. I know, I'm crazy. I get it. But stick with me. This is all going to make sense in a minute. Here's the story. A new manager takes over a team. Fortunately for him, the team is a good one. They're smart, they're productive and efficient. They even maintain reasonable work hours, and their projects have realistic deadlines. People leave at about 5 o'clock, and they don't bring too much work stress home with them. Then one day, the manager assigns one extra project. It's just a small one. The team stays late one night to knock it out. Pretty easy. The manager is grateful, and everyone feels really good about it. They even celebrate the win. A few weeks later, the manager adds another project. It's still pretty small, and the team stays late again, and nobody complains. After all, it's about camaraderie. They're all working on the same goal. Then the manager starts periodically scheduling meetings at 4:30 that run until about 6 o'clock. Then he asks people to just take a quick look at something on a Friday night. And then he's sending Sunday emails with his friendly note of no rush, but when you get a chance type of request. Each time, the team accepts it. After all, none of the individual requests on their own are unreasonable. They're just one more small thing to do. But fast forward 3 years, and suddenly the team is burned out. Deadlines have become impossible to hit. Nobody has work-life balance anymore, and the manager is wondering why everyone seems so stressed. Now, the manager isn't evil. He's just the chef, adding 1 degree of heat at a time. As for the team members, they keep accepting each new request as the new status quo. Nobody forced them. There's nothing they felt they needed to complain about. They just kept accepting each new request as the new baseline. In fact, they probably didn't even notice the change, until the day they realized they were sitting in boiling water. Sure, you're probably thinking that it never happened to you like that. But that's the whole damn point. When it happens to you, you don't see it happening. And remember, when it comes to your business or your team or your leadership, you're not the frog. You're the chef. You have patterns of behavior. We all do. But you've been living so long with your patterns, you don't even realize most of them are there. They're hidden back in your blind spot, running in the background. As a manager of others, whether you're a business leader, parent, teacher, sports coach, whatever, doesn't matter. Your behavioral patterns unconsciously create an environment that supports and perpetuates those patterns. And that may sound confusing, but let me explain how this works. Let's say someone crosses a boundary. You let it slide. That pattern of not enforcing boundaries then creates an environment where it's okay to ignore boundaries, and that becomes the new normal. You get it? Most leaders in this situation see dysfunctional behavior and try to fix the frog. It means more training, more feedback, or more consequences. But that's solving for the wrong problem. The problem isn't that your team tolerates dysfunction. The problem is that you keep creating the conditions that allow it. Your patterns strengthen the environment, and the environment strengthens the patterns. I call this the pattern environment loop. It's what I work on with all the teams and individuals that I help. Because the question isn't whether it's happening to you. It is. It happens with everybody all the time. The question is about how much your patterns are limiting your growth and the growth of your team. Let me give you some examples. I'll talk about the behavior, the response, the environment it creates, and then the pattern environment loop. The behavior. One of your employees doesn't finish a project on time. The response. You do nothing. The environment. That behavior becomes the status quo. And the pattern environment loop is that nobody ends up maintaining a sense of accountability. Here's another one. The behavior. A team member is rude to others in meetings. The response. You think, I'll deal with it later. But you know what? Later never comes. And the environment. It's okay to publicly shame others. And the pattern environment loop you've created is a toxic us versus them mentality between departments. That's how it happens. Each time you accept unacceptable behavior, you're raising the heat by another degree. And most times you don't realize it. The team definitely doesn't realize it until they do. Because every boundary you don't enforce becomes tomorrow's baseline. Every dysfunction you accommodate becomes the next week's new normal. The pot keeps getting hotter, but you're the one turning up the damn dial. And one day the team is going to wonder how that culture suddenly became so toxic and how standards slipped and everything completely fell apart. So consider this my warning to you, chef. When the team boils over with frustration, it isn't going to come slowly. It's going to seem to fall apart in a second. It's hard for a lot of people to accept the fact that they're the chef in this metaphor, because it's easy to think of the chef as evil, but he's usually not. You're not intentionally turning up the heat. I know that. In fact, sometimes the result isn't even toxic. It just becomes limiting. It puts a ceiling on your growth opportunity and that of your team members. And you probably get frustrated that things aren't working the way you want them to, but you keep defending your behavior with comments like, it's better this way, or I'm just picking my battles. Whenever you do this, you create another status quo, another click of the dial. So the question isn't whether you're the chef, because you are. The question is, will you keep trying to fix the frog, or will you turn off the damn heat? You know what? Maybe it's time you stop solving the wrong problem. If you want to understand your pattern environment loop and why you keep turning up the heat or how you do it, I run diagnostic workshops. They're free. I help you uncover the patterns that are holding back your growth. Click the link below. Join the waitlist for a chance to get a seat at the next one. They're limited. And thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you next week.